So here I have a program plan. It's made up of 4 individual project plans, all held within a master schedule project file. It's linked to a central resource pool, and I can look at this, so I can look at all my projects, look at their activities, what's going on across all those project files. So, how are we going to do this? Well, that training series where we created build a plan from scratch with a resource pool, and a link should be somewhere on here for you to be able to follow that training series if you've not done so already, is we're going to take that project file and what we'll do is we're going to copy it. We're going to copy it 3 times. Then we're going to rename those project files as computer A project B through to D. We're going to change some properties. We're also going to add some custom fields in there so we can do some filtering in our program plan. Then we're going to create another project file which will be our resource pool, and we're going to link those 4 project files to that resource pool. And once we've done that, we're then going to link all these files together into an MS Project master schedule, which will be our program plan. So, without further ado, let's do this. So, in this scenario, as I follow on from the build a plan with MS Project training series, I'm now playing the role of the PMO for our project manager, who is Jane Smith. And I supported Jane in the build out of our project plan to build a new computer. Now, after having a meeting with Jane, Jane has requested, using this plan as a template, we need to create a program plan to build 4 new computers and identify when all the computers will be completed if we start the program on the 5th of February 2024 with the resources we have available in our team, and then track milestones at a program level that will identify when each computer build, i.e. computer A, B, C and D, will be completed. And the way that I've decided to go about this is I'm going to use the master schedule, the resource pool and the leveling capability of MS Project to give me an idea when this program can be completed without over allocating our resources, i.e. all 4 projects are achievable within the timeline forecasted. So in front of us we've got our project plan that we did within the previous training series, and I've made some changes already where I have made an amendment, build a computer A here like so. So it's now referenced computer A. Within my properties, so if I go into file info and project information, I've got computer A project as the title also. And again, if I go into my project information here on the project ribbon, my project is starting on the 5th of February, and I've also set my priority here to 500. So in other words, the way that prioritization works, and you can use this within your leveling, is that when we talk about priority, so this is priority number 1, this is priority number 2, and this is priority number 3. Is prioritization within MS Project works back to front. So the higher the number, the higher the priority. And if you set your priority to 1000, then leveling just cannot touch that particular project. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to 1000 on this particular template to demonstrate. Click OK. So I've now done this, set this up. I want to create some custom columns so I can track it at a program level and identify the project at a program level. So the first custom column I'm going to create is I'm going to use the text 1 field here and rename it to project name and click OK. I'm going to do a lookup. So the first one is I'm going to do program, build, computer program. The next one is going to be project A, will be this one, project B, project C, and project D. So those are my lookups there. Return there and close. You can put a description of those, but I won't for the purpose of this exercise, and click close. The next custom field I'm going to create is going to be a number, and that's going to be, I'm going to use number 2, the custom number 2 field, and rename that to milestone level and click OK. Now a number field always defaults to 0, so what I'm going to do in my lookup is I'm going to say 0 equals not a milestone. I'm then going to do 1, that will be my program level. I'm going to do 2, which will be project level. Like so. So those are my 3 milestone levels. So 0 is not a milestone, 1 is program level, and 2 is project level. And then going to click OK. Now, for the purpose of this exercise, I don't need the WBS in there any longer, so I'm going to hide that. I'm then going to insert my 2 new columns. So I'm going to insert top T for text. There's my project name. And then I'm going to insert again, right click on task name and do insert and do input number. And there's number 2, milestone level, and I'm going to insert that. So here on the project, I'm going to drop down. So this is going to be project A. And then I'm going to do Shift, Control and down, and I'm going to then do Control D to copy that all the way down, like so. Then, as far as the milestone level is, that this is, so if I just filter on milestones just to help me, view milestone. So that is going to be a project level milestone. That one's also going to be a project level milestone. That's a project level milestone. This is a project level milestone, but this, when computer A assembly is completed, i.e. this represents when the whole build is done, is going to be a program level milestone. I want to track that at a program level. Great. If I take that filter off, like so. So I'm now happy with that. If I hit save, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do file, save as, and I'm going to save it as computer A project. So if I just rename this here, computer A project, like so, and do save. So I've now saved that, and if I close that down and we go to my folder, so there's my template that I've created. If I then go into my projects folder, and if I create 3 copies of that, yeah, and again I go into these and rename them to project B, C and D. Let's refresh my view here. Right, there are my 4 projects. So now I need to go and make some changes in each of these. So if I go into computer B project, so I want to make sure this is computer B in the description. Select the first row, shift, control and down, do control F for find. So I want to find computer A. I want to replace it with computer B and replace all. Done. So it's now changed all the names in here. And then if I take this and change this to project B, and again hold down the shift and control button and do down, and then do control D to copy it all the way down. So that's now changed. Done. Now the final thing I need to do is, well, there's 2 things I need to do. I need to make sure that in the properties, so file, info, project information, advanced properties, I'm going to change this computer A to a computer B project and click OK. And then within my project ribbon and my project information, I'm going to change this to 500 as a priority. And then each project I'm going to lower the priority for project C and project D accordingly. So if I click OK, like so. So that's my project B, and I'll shut that down. That's done. And then go to project C and do the same thing. And on project and project information, I'm going to change this to 400, slightly lower. Project C and save. And then let's do project computer D project. And on this one, I'm going to change this to 300. So it's the lowest priority of all of them, just so it plans to build this stuff in sequence. I'm going to do save. And then what I'm going to do is I need to create a resource pool to link all these files to. So I'm going to go file, I'm going to do new, I'm going to create a blank project. On the view, I'm going to get rid of the timeline, and as far as I'm going to go onto the resource ribbon and set this to resource sheet, and then I'm going to save this in a different folder, so I know it's for resources. So go to my IPP, in this resource folder, open that up. I'm going to call this my resource pool, like so, and click save. I'm then going to go back to my folder. So I've got D open. I've also got my resource pool open as well, because I now want to link all these to my resource pool. So I'm going to open the remaining projects I've created. So highlight them, right click on them, and then do open. So I've now got all these files open. I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to arrange all. So now I've got all my files. So I've got my project A, there's project B, C and D, and this is my resource pool. So I'm going to go through each one now and link them to my resource pool, and look what happens to the resource sheet here as well. So on project A, I'm going to do, with project A selected, I'm going to go resource pool, share resources. I'm going to use resources, and I'm going to select my resource pool like so and click OK. And now you can see it's now written them to that resource pool, those resources, and I'm going to hit save like so. I'm then going to do the same to project B, so I'm going to select it, resource ribbon, resource pool, share resources, and again I'm going to use the resources on my resource pool. Resource takes precedence and click OK. And now what you can see now is that resources will start to become over allocated, and it starts to identify that in the projects, because at the moment all these projects are planning to be built at the same time. So I'm going to have some resource conflicts. Again, I'm going to hit save. I'm then going to select project C and do the same thing. Resource, share resources, use resources from the resource pool, click OK. And again, they become more over allocated and hit save. And then finally, computer D project. I'm going to do resource, share resources, use resources from the resource pool, click OK, and then do save. So at the moment, based on the plan and the timelines of these projects, all my resources are over allocated, which says I can't do all these projects at the same time. And this is where we utilize the power of the master schedule and the leveling to give us an indication. So on here as well, on the resource pool, I'm just going to hit save there as well to make sure that's saved. And then I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to do, so with any of these projects, I'm going to do new window, and I'm going to select all my project files except the resource pool. So I'm going to select them all in my new window. As far as I'm going to go to my tracking Gantt view as my view that I want to open it up in, and I'm going to click OK. Again, on my view, I'm just going to do entire projects, so I can now see all my projects here are now linked, like so. And what I'm going to do is and as you can see, if I go outline level 1, as you can see my 4 projects. So I'm going to insert something in here. So first of all, I need to get my custom fields to be within my master schedule. So at the moment, this is just a master schedule project. I'm going to click save. Within my IPP folder, I'm just going to call this IPP, build computers. So that's what I'm going to call my program file, and click save and do yes to all. So do you want to make save changes to all your projects? I'm going to go yes to all, like so. I'm then going to go into my file info, and I'm going to open up the organizer here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change. So I've got IPP build computers. I'm going to select one of my one of my other files, so project computer A project, and I'm going to go to my fields, and I'm going to copy my custom fields across to my program file and do copy, and then close. If I go back to my file, I'm just going to do save again and do yes to all. And again, if I open this up, and I'm going to do, I'm going to add some things. I'm going to add some columns in here. In fact, before I open it up, I'm going to do insert. So right click on this task here, the first row, do insert task, and I'm going to do computer. Build program, like so. And then at the end, I'm going to do when computer build program complete. I'm going to make that a milestone, so 0 days from milestone. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand that up. So if I just go outline level 2 and then just expand that up slightly, I can see this. If I make it outline level 3, right, perfect. So outline level 3 is where I want to link these. So I'm just going to shrink these down for a second just so I can see them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this milestone to this milestone. Yeah, so when that's complete, I'm going to link it to this as well. So I'm going to, that highlighted, selected, select that with the control key, and then on the task ribbon, just hit link, shrink that down, then do B, computer B, do the same thing, link them, down here, link them, and then finally on the computer D, I'm going to link them like so, and link them. Bosh. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these here and right indent them. So get on the task ribbon, right indent, because they're part of my program. Now I've now got my two tasks here. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do right click on the task name, do insert, and I'm going to do my project name here like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that my computer, and then just make these relevant to the actual project files. And this is going to be my program level milestone. I'm going to insert, shrink that down. I'm going to right click and insert another column. I'm going to take my milestone level number 2, and what I'm going to do is just make this program level milestone, shrink that down, and there you go. So I've now got everything in here, and if I highlight this and show all my subtasks, so do all subtasks again, and let's just make sure I can see everything in my view, entire project. So I now have my program plan. Everything's joined up. I've got a milestone that indicates when this program completes. There's a couple of more things that we need to do. So number one, clearly this program is not achievable based on all the overallocation, so we need to sort that. Also, we need to make sure that myself as the PMO, I'm allocated a day a week to support this. I need to add myself at the program level. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go onto the resource ribbon on the resource sheet, and within here I'm going to go on the add resources. I'm going to add a work resource, which is going to be, there you go, which is going to be me. So that's Phil Bourne, PB initials, I'm a PMO. Let's put me in right. I'm going to be the same cost center as Jane, like so, and then I'm going to hit save, do yes to all. I'm then going to go back to the Gantt tracking Gantt view, and within this particular task I'm going to double click on it, and on the resources you should just see me, and I'm going to assign myself 20% like so. So there you go, so I'm costed into that. So there you go, so I'm now added in. Now the next thing we've got to do is we've got to level this. So again, if I move this over here, and we can see all this over allocation, I do my view entire project, I go into my project information. So let's make sure this is all starting on the 5th of Feb, like so. So everything's synced up. If I look at my project information at the moment, it's saying everything's going to finish on the 1st of May, but we know that's not achievable. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to go within the project sort of the resource ribbon, should I say, is I'm going to go into my leveling options. And what I'm going to do is we've got leveling, we've got different levels of detail. So I'm going to go hour by hour, and I want it to level everything. So clear all my leveling. If I've done leveling before, to clear it all beforehand. So if we do day, let's try week by week here, and let's do by ID only, see what happens. So if I do level all, and we then look at my project information. It still finishes on the 1st of May, and if I just look at the way that it's done it, it's moved stuff, and you can see that there's tasks that have been split and so on. But if I want to make sure I do things so I want the computer A, B and C done, priorities done as a priority, is then if I go into my resource ribbon, I can clear my leveling. So if you look at this, watch what happens is, if I clear the leveling and do OK, it's gone back to what it was. Yeah. If I then go to my leveling options, and let's go hour by hour, but let's do it by priority and then standard, so then by ID. Yeah. So if I then do level all, it's made some movement in here like so. If I then look at my project information, it's now going to finish on the 22nd of the 5th. So what does that mean? So let me go to my view and do my outline view to 2. Let's go to the top. We can now see, based on this, is that the first 2 projects haven't been touched. It's moved slightly out 2 days, project C, and then project D, which is the lowest priority, has been moved out. Great, I'm happy with that. That works for me. I'm then going to go onto my project and I'm going to set my baseline and stick with that, set it and do OK for entire project. And again, if I go into my view, I'm going to show all my tasks there. Now what you'll notice here is that my individual projects have not been baselined, and that's because you've got to go into the individual projects and baseline them there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to go yes, save my changes to all, and do OK to all, reference the resource pool. I'm then going to go into each individual project and set the baseline accordingly. Project A, yeah, open the resource pool, project, set baseline, click OK, save, and close that down, and then do it for my other 3 projects also. So that's now all my projects. I've set the baseline for all of them. If I go back to my program plan and open that up, click OK, you can now see that all my projects have been baselined. Now one thing I have to do is I just need to link my resources to the resource pool, because the one thing that you'll see is if I look at my resources here, I need to link it to the resource pool. So if I go up to my program task here and do the drop down, I can only see me. So I just need to link this to the resource pool. So again, I go like I did with individual projects, I go resources, share resources, then use resources from resource pool and click OK. And then when I do the drop down, they're all there. Brilliant. So now do my view, entire project again. And I can do milestones. So if I filter on milestones, and if I just do my program level milestones, which is 1, I can now see when things are going to be delivered against each of my projects, like so. Now, project managers can open up their individual project plans, work on them. They can even copy them down to a local drive. They can make amendments and then paste them back into the directory, and the IPP, or this master schedule file, automatically pick that up. So there's a quick and simple way of bringing all my project plans together so I can look at it and I've leveled those resources. So I now know this is an achievable program plan and that those projects with the resources that we have can be delivered to those timelines. I hope you found that useful and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. You take care now. Bye bye. And if you found this video helpful, please remember to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also click that notifications button for future content, as it really helps the channel and allows me to continue bringing more content like this. And also check out my other videos if you haven't already. Bye bye, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care now.